has got plenty of things going on for him too. So, trying to sit with Scott and try to get with Bob and see what I can work out. If Scott's willing to talk to me about it, then we will, but we'll start there.
Hey, I'm always happy to talk to you.
I can barely hear you, Scott Roberts.
How about that?
Oh, I
Much
hear
better.
you now. Yeah, there you are. Um,
I'm always happy to talk to you, Terry.
okay, I know you're busy tonight, and with it being the weekend, um, I still might try. Can I call you sometime tomorrow or a little bit later
Sure,
on after this? Or are you
of
busy?
course.
When's better?
Tomorrow's good.
Okay, let me see if
Tomorrow's
I
good.
can't reach you early tomorrow. Well, if you're up early in the afternoon.
We'll see how it goes.
Okay. Well, if I don't reach you, I'll leave you a voicemail and then you can call me back.
Sure. You know, Terry, I want to say something. You have had some really amazing speakers on your shows, and then you guys, break, really the boundaries when you on Alcon. I mean, you just go all out, and so um,
Yeah.
if you want to hear great speakers or whatever, definitely get hooked up with the Astronomical League because they're in touch with some of the greatest astronomers on the planet. So
No, thank you. Yeah, there are quite a few of them out there, and quite a few of them have came on tonight, just like Scott Harrington and
mhm,
John Goss and
mhm.
David.
And
David
David,
Levy, we can't forget him because he's always doing an amazing job.
right?
So, and Scott Roberts, you're pretty good too. I've heard you speak a few times too. Normally you're behind the scenes, but when you come out and you do give a talk, you are really a good
Hmm.
speaker too.
Am I?
Yes, you are.
About a year ago, Scott Roberts wrote a really, really good essay on essentially why we like astronomy, why we do what we
Oh
do.
yeah,
Remember
yeah,
that?
yeah.
This last
Some,
December,
from
November,
time
December.
to time, I just really get inspired to try to convey that feeling, because for all of us that do astronomy outreach, there's it is really a transformative experience, and a lot of people throw that word around, so it's kind of somewhat cheapened by how often it's used on how that's a transformative experience or how this is or whatever. But astronomy and understanding your place in the universe is really foundational. And when you get the experience, maybe you see Saturn's rings for the first time or whatever, uh, and you can see it happen on their face and in their eyes, and that feeling is hard to describe. It's hard to articulate, and from time to time I try. So, um, but I appreciate your thoughts on that, John.
Mm.
That's cool. That means a lot coming from you. Okay, I think that it's 6 o'clock. So here we
Yes, it
go.
is.
Yes, it is. Okay, so here we are. Well, hello everyone. This is Scott Roberts and Terry Mann. I'm with the astronomy or the Astronomical League as their behind the scenes guy, but I'm also from Explore Scientific and the Explore Alliance. And we are really, really honored and proud to be a part of the Astronomical League's programming. And It's just a real honor to be on with Terry Mann and David Levy and John Goss that are here, especially also our featured guest here, Scott Harrington. So you're going to hear some amazing stuff about how to use modest equipment to explore the universe and do it well. So I'll turn it over to you, Terry. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Scott. It's a pleasure to be here, and it's so good to see everybody again. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. We've got a really great group here tonight. So I would like to start off with David Levy and let him start our night off as perfectly as he normally does. So David, take it away.
Well, thank you very much, Terry. And I wanted to thank Kyle for that wonderful Jupiter globe. You can see it shining behind me there. And the reason I forgot to write him was that I could not find his email address. But anyway, I am delighted to have it. And thank you. I have two poems to share with you today. The first one is Thomas Hardy's A Lunar Eclipse, because I was able to see it on Tuesday night from Palomar Mountain Observatory. I was there with Gene Mueller. Gene Mueller has discovered 15 comets and 107 supernovae. So from our solar system to all over the universe, Gene has been an outstanding contributor. And here is my poem by Thomas Hardy. Thy shadow earth from pole to central sea now steals along the moon's meek shine in even monochrome and curving line of imperturbable serenity. How shall I link such sun-cast symmetry with the torn troubled form I know as thine? That profile, placid as a brow divine, with continents of moil and misery. And can a dense mortality but throw so small a shade in heaven's high human scheme, be hemmed within the coasts yon arc flies? Is such the stellar gauge of earthly show, nation at war with nation, reigns the team heroes and women fairer than the skies? I did say I had a second poem, and the second one is very personal. And that one is because Sunday is going to be the 23rd of September, which marks 2 years since I lost my sweet Wendy. And you say, I'm trying to get used to it, but I don't think I ever will, and I really don't want to. Here is my poem. Each day I awake. Today is the day. I look towards her. She is not there. My heart goes on, but do I care? Well, anything, let in some ray. The night is dark. It is dark as cold. The sky is stars from west to east, from south to north, just like a feast. A pill, heaven sent, to calm my soul. A telescope stands. It stands and waits for my eye. It asks just one brief look, forward through space like an open book, and backward through time, open wide the gates. I see a star. Why is it there? Lapis philosophorum, philosopher's stone, that strikes the night. It ushers me home as part of a pattern to learn I did. But reason not. General relativity. Gravity's geometry, no speck of thought. No idea works, no system bought. A space-time crash to save its dignity. She's part of me, a beam of light among the stars. In the sky, a planet. Not there, but there. My soul enchants. From grief to joy, all through the night. Thank you very much. I'm back to you, Ted.
Well, thank you, David. It just wouldn't be the same if you didn't get us started every night. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
So, all right, from there, how about John Goss? How are you doing? It's been a while since I've actually talked to you.
Oh, I'm fine. I haven't had COVID, so I've been pretty good.
Yeah,
I'm
I
kind of
didn't
rubbing it
catch it
into her.
until last month, and that's the first time I had it, and I do not want to have it
Yeah,
again. That
yeah,
was no fun at
yeah.
all.
Well, actually, I did have it. I had it over last Thanksgiving, which
Mm,
certainly messed up the holiday, but
I bet.
it's the way it goes.
Yeah, you do what you got to do, huh,
Yeah,
John?
yes, sir.
All,
And
all
before
right.
before we start, I'd like to say something to David. I'm sorry about Wendy, and I'm sorry about now you have to associate this with the autumnal equinox. Because I think you said September 23rd there. But that'll give you a little bit different meaning to it all, and it may actually be comforting somewhat. It's a good day, you know.
Well,
Um,
thank you for sharing.
Also, one of your poems, you said it was by Thomas Hardy.
Yes, that was the
Yeah.
first one. The second
Well,
one was by,
I'm glad you read that, because he might be my favorite author. So I like, well, yeah, it was 150 years ago, but his words still hold up fine. So,
I think so.
but anyway, so what are we
Thomas
doing here?
Hardy is one of the greatest poems of all of English literature, one of the
Yeah.
greatest poems.
Yeah. I went by Delphus, Ohio. I was in Michigan a few days ago and went by Delphus, and I got to thinking about Leslie Peltier or Peltier, whichever
Mhm.
way. It seems like the pronunciation of names changes over the years. And I think his was one of them that has. But yeah, I think about him every time I go through there because I love the book Starlight Nights. It has got to be one of my favorite books to sit down and read. And every time I see Delphus, I think about that. But anyway,
Terry, did you read the part about T. Coronae Borealis?
Oh,
It's
yeah. I know
magnificent.
what you're going to say. I know what you're going to say. Yeah, yeah.
It is absolutely magnificent because
It's kind of sad though.
Leslie, a little bit like me, treats the stars as personal friends. And he said that he wrote that T. Coronae and he were friends for many years in the early part of the 20th century. He was watching it every night as it tossed and turned. And then on the night of February something 1940, I think it was February 9th, 1946, the star rolled over, threw off its covers, and rose. And where was I? He asked. I was asleep. He said that we woke up that night to observe, and he was thinking, oh, I'm not feeling too good, and I will go back to sleep. And he says, thus I miss the night in the life of T. Corona. He said, I still watch it every night, but it is a wary eye. There is no warmth between us anymore. Isn't that a wondrous thing for him to write?
yep. All right, John. Would you like to take it away?
Well, I'll see what I can do here. Excellent. I hope you're all cool with this. Okay, good. Well, as you know, we're on Astronomical League Live tonight, and I'd like to give a short presentation on why the September third quarter moon is special. It's something that you may not have thought about before, or at least not thought about much, but let's dive into this and see what happens. Okay, this September comes up. What do we all think about? We think about the autumnal equinox. That's there every September, the 22nd or the 23rd. Rain or shine, it's going to happen. And we also hear about the harvest moon, which is the full moon closest to the autumnal equinox. And there are some special reasons, which I'm not going to go into because that would be 3 times as long as my talk's going to be. But that's an interesting thing to look into. And this year we had the big supermoon on the on the full moon on Tuesday night. That's the full moon I didn't see because I was under the cloud cover from the unnamed tropical storm, which came in off the coast from the Carolinas. And also that night we had a partial umbral eclipse of the moon. So that's pretty cool. But it's a really another point to the moon, which you might want to think about every September or perhaps even into early October. But first, I'd like you all to think about what the Earth and the moon look like as viewed from the sun. Viewed from the sun. The Earth and the moon are always a full phase. That's the only phase that the sun can see of any of the planets, any of the moons, any of the asteroids, anything out there. It's always full phase. So think about that. On Tuesday night, we had a full moon. Well, from the sun, it's always a full moon. The Earth is also tilted 23 degrees on its axis, and I'll get to that right now, what I really mean by that. maybe not. There we go. Okay, we have a third quarter moon coming up on, I think it's Tuesday night, on the 24th and 25th, depending on where you are. Actually, I think it happens at just after midnight on the 25th. So this gives a little representation of the layout of the Earth, Moon, and Sun on several days along this month. Back in September 3rd, we had the new moon. First quarter, September 11th. 17th saw the full moon. But on this coming Tuesday, we're going to have the third quarter moon. What that really means is that the third quarter moon happens to lie in the Earth's orbit at the spot that the Earth is headed. And the Earth is tilted towards that orbital motion. So we were most tilted towards the third quarter moon is, and the third quarter moon is exactly in the same direction in the sky that we are headed in our orbit. And that's it's about 240,000 miles. Well, that means that the Earth takes about 3.6, I'm trying to get the figure straight, 3.6 hours to travel that 240,000 miles to get from where we are to where the moon will be on the 25th of September. Now, oppositely, where we have come, from whence we have come, first quarter moon on September 11th. If you looked at that as the sun went down, looked at the first quarter moon on September 11th or the first quarter moon in September, you will be looking in the direction of where we have come. So I think this it's pretty amazing that the third quarter moon can be considered kind of special because it shows us where we are headed in space. Now, when this is some more details to the whole thing about the full moon. The full moon on Tuesday night, it was actually moving in the sky in the same direction that where we're headed in space. That's the way full moons are. So something to keep in mind when you look at the first quarter moon, the full moon, and the third quarter moon, what it all really means in the sky. To us, we're on a planet, we're traveling in the direction of the third quarter moon. So, to review, the September harvest full moon leans into our planet's direction of travel around the sun. Leans most, at 23 degrees on its actual tilt, leans into our planet's direction of travel. And the position of the third quarter moon is the direction of our planet's travel. And whether we like it or not, we're going to be there in 3 hours and 36 minutes. So that is why the third quarter moon is so special. Good. Thank you. Thank you for sitting through that. And think about these things the next time you're out there looking at the moon, that it really does mean something in the sky and for the Earth and our relationship to it. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Yeah, I gave a talk last Saturday, and I talked about how fast the Earth is rotating, how we're the orbit around the sun, and how the Milky Way and all the miles per hour, and everybody just kind of sat back and went, oh my God, you forget things like that. To think about how fast we are moving right now, it's the most incredible ride you could have on Earth, and yet we don't sense it. Yeah, it would be like, wow, my hair should be blowing back.
Well, we're always in motion. We're always in motion. So
yeah, but it's amazing because you don't think about it. We all sit here, we look at the stars, we're behind a telescope or whatever, but my gosh, the way we are traveling and how we're moving is just amazing to me. So thank you very much, John. That was really interesting because I never really looked at it that way.
Thank you for having me on.
Sure. You're welcome anytime. So what I would like to do, Chuck Allen could not be with us tonight. Hopefully he will be on the next AL Live. And what I would like to do, Scott, I'm going to share just a small PowerPoint that I put together because I'd like to let people know a couple of things. And hopefully, it should be there. One other thing I would like to let everybody know too, we're so used to seeing Carol Orge here, and you probably heard me say on the last show, as president, he had ran 2 full terms, so he could not run anymore. So currently we have new officers. Chuck Allen will now be president of the Astronomical League. We have a new member named Mike Cookie that will be our new treasurer. Aaron Clevenson will be stepping in as secretary for the next year. Maynard Pittendray is our exec secretary. And I am now the vice president of the Astronomical League. So our officers have changed and we're all getting together and getting to know each other and going over what we want to do and what the council had directed us to do in our last council meeting. So it's been, a lot of fun. And Carol, we will definitely miss you too. I've told him he can come back to AL Live anytime he wants, just to let me know. And there's other things going on in the league too, but I'm going to let Chuck Allen tell you more about it when he comes on next month. One of the things we've got coming up, and because our host, which the person hosting Astrocon 2025 will be Lowell Lyon. He has the Mars region helping him with putting on Astrocon at Bryce Canyon next year. And we have also the Bryce Canyon, I think it's called the Astronomy Festival, will be running in conjunction next year with Astrocon. And I believe the the Grand Canyon Star Party will also be running the week before. So we have a whole lot of stuff going on that you can come one time. If you drive up or fly in, you can go to the Grand Canyon. Then you can head out to Bryce Canyon and check out Astrocon and the Astronomy Festival. So there is a lot going on. And as you can see, Bryce Canyon will be June 25th through 28th. And thank you to Scott Roberts for making our QR codes on the fly here. We have QR codes that you can check. But we did Bryce Canyon in 2011, and I'm telling you, it is fantastic. There will be workshop. Well, I'll go to the next slide. There's a lot going on. As you can see in the left-hand corner, there will be digital imaging workshops for novice and advanced. There'll be personal programming and journaling, observing tips, ideas. I mean, there is a lot of things going on, including a sketching workshop. So there will be mostly workshops and a lot of time to try to get some rest before you go out at night and do your visual or imaging at Bryce Canyon. I believe most nights the talks will stop about 4 o'clock. A couple of nights there will be a talk from 4 to 5 on a couple of nights. It will all be really interesting, a lot of fun. The really cool thing is you can bring the family, whether the spouse interested in astronomy is the male or female. There will be a bus system running that will take the family out into the park while whoever is at Alcon listening to the talks, the family can take a bus ride through the park, go see different things. There is so much you can do. The site also has a nice restaurant inside, and it has a fast food restaurant in the parking lot. If you have a choice of food, even though you are at Bryce Canyon, you will have a choice of food. The one thing I can tell you is already there are 275 rooms reserved, blocked off for this. Already 75 rooms are already reserved. Jump in there. If you are going to do this, scan this QR code or go to this website, get registered. Last time, when we were out there in 2011, we had to cut it off at 400. This time, I think the cutoff point is somewhere around 500. So we've got a few more rooms, but please, if you're going to do this, register early. There will be a full page ad, I do believe, in the December Reflector, and they will, at that point, the rooms are going to probably be flying. So please, if you're going to come, seriously, get registered. Once you are registered, then you will get the link to reserve your room. But really consider this. It will be a lot of fun and nice dark skies.
And one of the 500 people who will be there is me.
Yay! We'll be glad to see you there. It wouldn't be the same without you, David. So we have, oh, I just noticed our speaker has dropped off the line. So I guess I get to keep talking until Scott comes back. On October 25th, Dr. Barb Harris will be on, and she is going to talk about doing science with the sea star. Now, she is a very, very talented lady. She does a lot of work, AABSO, a lot of variable stars. She has been working with the sea star and put out some incredible stuff. So Barbara Harris will be with us at 7 p.m. on October 25th. And that will really be something to look forward to, because I was amazed at Alcon this year in Kansas City. We had processing workshops, and they were showing how they were processing images off the sea star. And I'm telling you, I was shocked. After that talk, everybody made a beeline for the vendors, and they were selling sea stars right and left. And I have to admit, I bought one, and imaging the moon or the sun, it's one of the easiest things you'll ever do. 20 minutes top. You take that out there, you set it up, you take pictures, you take it back in the house, and you have got pictures for the day if you do lunar, solar, and it does other deep sky imaging too. So there is a lot there to think about and what you can do. So that was all I was going to do. I'll stop sharing here. But it looks like our speaker must have lost connection. I don't see him here. I'm sure he's trying to get back on. So
Terry, I have a video that we can show, feature video, and perhaps you can give him a call or something like that, and we can see what we can do. Sometimes this is the internet. This happens. It is a live show.
I know. It's not unusual. This stuff always happens. Scott, you've got an event going on there tonight, don't you?
We do. We're celebrating Moonfest. So I think that most people celebrated on the 14th of this month. And there's Scott right now. He got back on.
Yep.
So let's see if his video is going to come up. But
okay.
Yeah, we've got today and tomorrow, we've got telescopes out there. Of course, we sell telescopes, so we've got like incredible deals out in the parking lot. We're trying to recreate kind of the experience of the Riverside Telescope Makers Conference, at least from like the swap meet part of it. And that used to drive a lot of people to come to that event. So,
oh yeah. Yeah, I can remember standing in line at the vendors waiting. They would only let 10 into one of these booths. I stood in line, I don't know how long, waiting and hoping the stuff didn't sell out before I got there.
It wasn't already gone by the time you got there, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. But I came home with some good stuff from there. So all right. Whoops.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, Scott's going in and out right now. He's having some internet issues. So Terry, I'm going to run this video and we'll come back and see if we've got Mr. Harrington back. Okay.
Okay, do that. I'm going to call Scott. If I'm not here, just go ahead and keep talking for a minute.
Okay. Okay. So this is a short feature from NASA about activity on the sun, which I think you'll enjoy.
Solar flares may seem like faraway events, but they can damage satellites and even ground-based technologies and power grids. Every 11 years, as the sun reaches its maximum activity, they become bigger and more common, and that increases the chances that one will significantly affect Earth. So what are these solar eruptions? A solar flare is basically an explosion on the surface of the sun, ranging from minutes to hours in length. Large flares can release enough energy to power the entire United States for 1 million years. Flares happen when the powerful magnetic fields in and around the sun reconnect. They're usually associated with active regions, often seen as sunspots, where the magnetic fields are strongest. Flares are classified according to their strength, The smallest ones are B class, followed by C, M, and X, the largest. Similar to the Richter scale for earthquakes, each letter represents a 10-fold increase in energy output. So an X is 10 times an M and 100 times a C. Within each letter class, there's a finer scale from 1 to 9. C-class flares are too weak to noticeably affect Earth. M-class flares can cause brief radio blackouts at the poles and minor radiation storms that might endanger astronauts. It's the X-class flares that are the real juggernauts. Although X is the last letter, there are flares more than 10 times the power of an X1, so X-class flares can go higher than 9. The most powerful flare on record was in 2003 during the last solar maximum. It was so powerful that it overloaded the sensors measuring it. They cut out at X17, and the flare was later estimated to be about X45. A powerful X-class flare like that can create long-lasting radiation storms, which can harm satellites, and even give airline passengers flying near the poles small radiation doses. X flares also have the potential to create global transmission problems and worldwide blackouts. The seriousness of an X-class flare pointed at Earth is why NASA and NOAA constantly monitor the sun. NASA's heliophysics fleet of spacecraft can now see the sun from every side and in many different wavelengths. This unprecedented coverage is enabling scientists to predict and detect space weather events like flares and CMEs with ever greater accuracy. With advanced warning, governments and companies can take steps to protect their technological infrastructure so that the worst scenarios will never happen.
Well, I think that was pretty interesting. So, you know, a lot of people wake up in the morning, you know, look at that alarm clock, think about, you know, how fast they got to get to work and the dog and, you know, what bills they might have to pay or whatever. And just outside their window is our nearest star. And this thing is giving us life, giving us everything, you know, and a lot of people don't pause to really think about that. And so, you know, you can be kind of tongue in cheek about it. George Carlin made a whole comedy routine about it, you know, about worshiping the sun. But I would say that, you know, if you're not into worshiping the sun, you should at least be into giving some gratitude to the thing that actually keeps us going and keeps us alive and makes all life possible here on Earth. You know, all the good things and all the bad things. You know, it's something that we need to definitely take into account. But it looks like Scott Harrington is back. And
no, Scott is going to need to we're going to have to reschedule him. He has a severe thunderstorm going through out there.
Oh, yeah, he was showing these clouds.
Yeah, I saw the red.
Yeah.
He what we saw there, I was talking to him, is his phone. And he said he could talk through the phone, but then he wouldn't have any slides. So we are going to have to reschedule Scott. Okay. So we're kind of going to have a very short program tonight.
Okay.
Sometimes, like you said, that happens. It's out of everybody's control. It's just the weather.
It does sometimes happen. So
yes,
I have, you know, I can make an announcement that we have our next global star party. And it is about cloudy nights. And so the guy that coordinates the Cloudy Nights website or the community is going to actually be on the program. That's Mike Beeler, who also happens to run the company Astronomics, which is one of the oldest telescope retailers around. You know, of course, David Levy will be there. I'll be there. Others will be there. So we're looking forward to that. That's October 1st at 6 p.m. We're going to talk. Part of that is just kind of talking about, you know, why cloudy nights. I mean, this is part of the theme. A lot of us as amateur astronomers, in fact, almost all of us as amateur astronomers, are super disappointed when the night's cloudy and we want to be out observing, right? But think about those nights where, okay, maybe it's cloudy and stuff, but you start to contemplate all the good times and all the amazing times that you experienced with your telescope, whether it was at an observatory or, an astronomy meet, or, watching a program like this with Astronomical League Live. Both Terry Mann and I were communicating with Barbara Harris. And Barbara, I mean, she lives by astronomy. She's up all night long and probably sleeping all day long. So it was kind of fun to be, because I was awake, Terry. I was up at like 3 a.m. or something. And I go, I wonder if Barbara Harris
is up.
And she was up, and she was clouded out at the time. So we had time to chat. And so, we talked about she calls it T Core Bore, T Corona Borealis. And
she is amazing.
Other stuff. And you mentioned the Sea Star. She bought one of those Sea Stars as well. And she showed me science that she was doing with it, where you could see a variable star. And then she had her, the field is so wide on that telescope, and like a lot of these smart telescopes. We sell some of them too, but they're wide enough so that you can get a standard star in the field of view at the same time. So she had the graph showing the standard star, and it just looked like pretty much steady, and then she got into the variable star, and you could see this, so look, for
it's pretty incredible.
That does everything for like $500, and she's cranking out science with it. I was pretty impressed. So anyways, that's one of those cloudy night stories that we just had. So but I'm going to play this little video called Electric Blue Clouds. This is a phenomena that has been recently discovered. NASA made a very nice video about it. And so I'm just going to roll that.
Just before you start, I'd like to make two comments. Number one, the sky at Palomar on the 25th of March, 1993 was cloudy and snowing when Carolyn discovered Comet Shoemaker 39 on our films that we had taken 2 nights earlier. The other thing I wanted to say is about the sun. And I wanted to say that this the current cycle, is by far the strongest cycle I have ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? The X flares, oh my gosh. It's like every week or so we have a big sunspot coming around that's fairly active, and people like me that like the aurora, it is so nice, because I can remember when we had 0 sunspots on the sun. I didn't think they were ever going to come back. So I've been enjoying this.
Yeah, they were calling it the second Maunder minimum or something. So
I tell you, it is pretty cool.
Right.
I mean, it's nice to see the activity, and it's nice to be able to see such big sunspots. And one thing too, now we've got, they said the comet, Atlas has rounded the sun, and it's in one piece. So that is more good news. So hopefully we will hopefully, as David said, comets are like cats, or you can say it better than I can, David.
You're muted, David.
Comets are like cats. They both have tails, and they both do precisely what they want.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let me wrap up with this, and we'll come back to you, Terry, and you can close our program. Okay.
Okay. Thanks, Scott.
Okay. Go. And here's NASA and those electric blue clouds.
A balloon mission from NASA observed rare electric blue clouds. These are polar mesospheric clouds, or PMCs. They are only visible during twilight and form above Earth's polar regions at the upper reaches of the atmosphere. As Earth's uppermost clouds at around 50 miles high, PMCs are composed of ice crystals that glow a bright blue or white when reflecting sunlight. They are extremely sensitive to environmental factors like water vapor and temperature. Atmospheric motions like airflow over mountains or thunderstorms can disturb the atmosphere and cause waves that can propagate to very high altitudes. These waves are known as gravity waves, and although they are invisible, they can be seen as they move through PMCs. Gravity waves lead to turbulence, chaotic movement in the atmosphere that can influence weather and climate and their predictions. But the exact causes and effects of turbulence are not well understood. To better understand this complex process, scientists sent a giant balloon to observe gravity waves in PMCs.
1,200 feet per minute. See you in Canada.
The crewless balloon traveled to 50 miles high and floated from Sweden to Canada over 5 days in July 2018. A laser radar on the balloon measured the PMC altitudes and the atmospheric temperature that affects their formation and brightness. And from 6 million camera images captured from the balloon, scientists could see both large and small ripples caused by gravity waves. A better understanding of turbulence can help improve weather forecast models and our understanding of processes around Earth, which affect our satellites and assets in space.
You must be muted, Scott. Yeah, I was thinking, something's the matter that I can't hear you.
Okay. How about
Oh,
that?
there we go. You're just trying to mess with me, aren't you?
It's fine.
All
It's
right.
fine.
Thank you for that, Scott. And thank
Yeah.
you. You guys have a great event tonight.
We
And
will.
thank you, everybody out there that's watching. We're sorry that we have to cut it short, but the weather is definitely affecting Scott Harrington's internet. He cannot present his talk at this time. So again, let me remind you, please tune in on October 25th for Dr. Barb Harris on doing science with the Sea Star. And we would love to see you then. And everybody have a great weekend. And Scott, I'm going to go back to you.
Okay. Thanks, Terry. Thanks. Okay. So we are going to close out. We want to thank, David Levy and Terry Mann for putting on this program. Also, a special thanks to Scott Harrington, who gave it his all to be here tonight. But there is some very nasty weather that frankly often happens here in Arkansas. So he had a Starlink and it really could not handle the all the lightning and the thunder that was happening. So make sure that you guys sign up for the AstroCon. We often call it Alcon, but this time it's called AstroCon at Bryce Canyon. So just get signed up because it is going to be a really special event. So, all right. And I think that is it. Let me find where I am. And we are going to do a little promo for one of David Levy's books and sign out.
Thank you.
Three, two, one. Main engine start, ignition, and liftoff.